Guys, 9:30 in the morning. I was in two minds about going out. It's all about the weather. My feet are still damp, and well, my shoes are still damp. And this wonderful little website or app you can get called AccuWeather. It really is quite accurate, and it's forecast for rain in about 20 odd minutes, which, given past performance, is pretty accurate. So I've got my waterproofs on, sweats as usual, and I bought my poncho as well, just in case, because I don't have any waterproof trousers, and God, they get really hard to walk in. The funny thing is, when the bottoms get waterlogged, the elastic's not strong enough, it just drags them down. Yeah, but it's nice bracing, nice chill wind. I made a sort of vegetable oil heater last night, and it was working to a certain degree, and then it sort of fizzled out a bit. Then I had to take the lid off. Then it started to catch, and then I put the lid back on, and it was pumping out quite a little bit of heat. At least raising the ambient temperature around the heater. But again, my shack has got lots of holes in it, floors in it and everything else, so there's too much of an airflow to warm the air, if you know what I mean. Not enough of an airflow to get rid of the smoke. But yeah, it certainly brings me to think about using different materials, and if I can get hold of a load of candles, I might melt them down and use the candle wax and corrugated cardboard idea, because that will burn a lot better, I think. So yeah, so I'm on my hike today, do a nice pleasant 10 miles today. And I brought some of my tools with me, because on the way back I might just go into the woods and start collecting more wood. Again, it's very important at this present time to start stockpiling, because let's assume, okay, end of September, beginning of autumn, yeah, the weather's going to get miserable. Look, typical English weather, and it's going to be wet and damp all the time. So the priorities are for the rest of this month, and at least for the beginning of September, because now you've pinpointed certain flaws or certain problems. It's like any camp you do. You can build your quick emergency shelter, you can build your little fort and everything else, but you have to then start, if you're going to be sort of semi-permanent or make it for long-term years, then you've got to sort of like fix the flaws. So there's less work for you to do when you actually need the shelter. You see, maintenance is the number one problem. So yeah, I got a stockpile wood. I cheekily grabbed a few nice cut logs from the other wood they were copicing. I might do a bit more later. Got to get more bricks. Got to redesign the shack, but I've got to do that in good, better weather. And I need more tarps. And I'm going to have to stockpile on denatured alcohol, methylated spirits or something else like that. You'll have to, because again, end of September, it's going to get wet and miserable. Yeah, by the end of October, it's going to be wet, cold and miserable. November and December, it's just going to be bloody miserable, okay? Cold, and maybe December, January, more than likely, there'll be ice, snow, and it will be really bad, yeah. So December, January. So you've got to think about, for 2 months, and this is all for your preppers and your SHTF guys. For 2 months in this country, the weather is absolutely foul. Now you can hold yourself up in a bunker and a shelter or anything else, but that's 2 months that your movements will be limited because you'll be cold, you'll be wet, and you'll be miserable, and if you don't have enough stockpiled to cover at least 2 months. Yeah? So that's assuming you got to think about 2 litres of water a day. So 2 by 60. Yeah? That's a lot of water. That's if you're not washing. That's just basically for making coffee and teas and do some basic cooking, you know, some simple cooking. You've got to think of these things. 2 months, you've got to have a stockpile, because you won't be able to go out down the shops all the time, especially if you're, you know, out in the woods, or if the whole of society is broken down. You don't want to go out. You don't want to be a target or anything else like that, or noticed. So for at least 2 months during winter, you've got to be prepared. And that's a hard thing to do when resources are basically quite scarce. I need to get some bags and some. There's loads of blackberries here. Now my father used to love making blackberry wine. Now, as much as that idea pleases me, because there's loads of blackberries around here, it's not really going to sustain you for 2 months. Might make you oblivious to what's going on for 2 months, but it's not going to sustain you. So I'm just thinking blackberry jams. Yeah. But then I'm going to have to get big pots and everything else, and jars and all that. And of course you've got to store it in a climate controlled area, haven't you? So you need storage for that. You see that you can have brilliant little ideas or good little ideas, but without the facilities for supporting those ideas, it's like, you know, I wanted to make a rocket stove out of that keg, but I don't have the tools to cut through it. I don't want to ruin my bushcraft knife cutting through that stronger metal. And it wouldn't be so accurate as well, cutting the holes you need. So, yeah, resources and tools are the most important things you've got to have, especially for those 2 months. And you can't sit around playing games all the time. Well, I'm trying to, or trying not to. Especially as now one of my main mobile phone is not responding properly now. The guy at the shop said now something inside it, because of the damage to the screen, is broken. Yeah, you might as well scrap the phone. So looks like I'm going to be in the market for another phone. If I get the same one, because they're relatively cheap. But the only problem with that is they're notoriously hard. I'm going to go not this way, I'm going to go this way. They're notoriously hard to well, they're not hard to unlock, they're just costly to unlock, and the screens, if you smash them again, are expensive. It'll cost more to unlock and fix a screen than it does to basically buy the whole phone. And if you go down to those game stores or CEX exchanges and all that, they're ridiculously expensive. You know, that's how they make their money. They give you a third of the value of the current value they look up on Google or whatever, if you want a part exchange, and they try to sell it back, sell it for 2/3 the value. So they're trying to make a third every single time, which obviously makes them money. But you know, I was looking at some of the old second-hand camcorders there, and they look reasonably priced. But you could take a bit of a gamble, go onto Amazon and buy a brand new high definition camera from China, and hopefully you'll get a good one. You know, buy a very old name brand one that may or may not last for a few months, or buy a brand new one unknown from China, which again may not last for a few months, or may last a lot longer. Always little dilemmas, isn't there? So anyway, got to prepare, got to stay anonymous, stealthy. Nobody can know what you're up to. All I want to do is just keep away from everybody. I was just saying to a lady in church, talking about my homelessness, and a lot. I was 10 years in retail, and it was doing my nutting. You know, it was. I mean, no matter how hard you worked, or how innovative, or how helpful, everything else, all they do is just take that. They just keep taking it. They don't want to give anything back. So they all these young upcoming and everything else, putting all their time and effort in. It's only because you've got some other piss poor bloody management, section manager, who doesn't like you or anything else like that, and they just take. Yeah, they want to keep what they want to keep. Yeah, I've made it to PM. I've made it to section manager. You do as I say. Yeah, and then they're very, very quick to pull out the disciplinary book for any transgression, because that's it. You know, for every single job in retail that's available, you can have 80, 90, 100 people applying for that job, so they can pick and choose. Yeah, and it's not about how hard you work. It's not about how innovative, how good you are with customers. It's nothing to do with that. You can be brilliant. If you piss off one of these little managers, these little Hitlers, that's it. You're buggered. If you don't follow the party guideline, the vision of the ideal worker, you're buggered. Yeah, so, you know, it does nothing to do with hard work. Yeah? You've got to get past these piss-out little Hitlers. And to be fair, I have known a few that are very, very good. I'd love to work with, love to work for. And but they don't last long either, because you can't be a nice guy. You know, and 10 years in retail, looking and listening to the same customer crap and everything else, and, you know, watching, it's just really, really annoying. Anyway, it did my head in, and in the end I decided, I've really got to get out. I haven't been, 20 years I've been back in this country, and I haven't accomplished any of my goals. Nothing. It's always had, this is life. Life is always about, I'm just really worrying I don't know, I've just been walking down the road and I just noticed a load. Actually, I just noticed a whole load of rabbit warrens, fox warrens on either side of the road now. A lot more than they were before. They're digging up stuff. Yeah, so that's, you know, if you want to catch rabbit, just set some snares outside these warrens. Right, okay, yeah, heading off into the hills. And hopefully I can get at least halfway before it rains. Just had a few spots just come down, but let's hope it just stays off. Let's hope AccuWeather isn't so accurate. Anyway, just deciding should I go through the meadows or should I stick to the main path? I think in case it rains, I'll stick to the main path. Anyway, until then, I shall catch you later. Take care now. Interesting. They just on one of my route, they just harvested all the wheat grain, and they ploughed it as well. And we've got, I don't know if you can see them, I'm not sure. We've got metal detectors out. We've got guys with metal detectors running around, hoping to look for some ancient buried treasure. Oh, he's digging up something. He's found something. It's probably just a great big lump of iron ore. Oh well. I know this area is rife with history, but I'm not aware of any sort of like major communities or settlements on this sort of area. If you're going to go metal detecting or looking for treasure and all that, you have to go and look where there used to be communities. You can look through the old history books and everything else. Right, well, that's what I did. There's a load of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And there's one guy right in the back. There's 6 guys. Well, interesting. Oh well, I'm going to have a spag. Take it. Their cars. The cars there on the field. So there's loads of them. There's more of them hanging around somewhere. But I was just thinking, I do this route quite a lot, and there's loads of wheat seeds everywhere. I was just thinking, 2 things. These fields are heavy in iron ore. There's iron ore lumps everywhere, and so yeah, as I'm walking past them, I can hear their little metal detectors going beep 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 all the time, and they're stopping and digging up stuff. And I'm thinking to myself, did anyone check to see if this field has got is there iron ore deposits anywhere? And the other thing is, I thought of a wicked joke to play on them. Get a tin, fill it with metal, bury it in the middle of the field somewhere, and leave a note in the side of the tin saying, "Psych, you suckers." Yeah, sorry, stupid little joke. But yeah, whatever turns you on. Right, I'm just gonna go the normal route. Feeling a little bit tired at the moment. Anyway, gonna cut through the woods. Catch you later. Sort of like the halfway point, my usual spot. I was just traipsing through the woods there past the quarry, and it's kind of annoying. I know it's off the par, but obviously the workmen in the quarry, they don't seem to like to use their facilities that the company obviously provides for them. And they'll have to walk into those woods and take a dump and leave their... It's not as if they sort of like dig a hole or anything else. They just walk into the woods, take a dump, and toilet papers everywhere and all that. And I'm also found this. It's a 20-litre container, AdBlue, green chem, don't know what that means. I'll have to look it up later on. I don't know what it's for. Yeah, I don't know what it's for. I'll look it up later. But yeah, I found that in the woods. It's a 20-litre container. Solid. Do you know how expensive those containers are if you want to buy them? 5-6 quid or more, I think. I get a 20-litre container, and I've been looking for more containers. I need to, I've been thinking about getting a water butt and everything else for storage, so all I have to do is find out what sort of chemicals are in there, clean it out if I can, and I've got myself a 20-litre container. This sort of thing, yeah, obviously they shouldn't be dumping it in the woods. But on this occasion, I'm not complaining. At least I've taken it out anyway, and I'll find a use for it, So I'm going to have to look this up and find out what sort of chemicals in it. Doesn't really tell. This product is a... I can't read it without my... Okay, it's a catalytic reduction system of your diesel engine. So it's for the air. So obviously they use it as some sort of additive in the fuel or something. But as I said, it's the container I'm looking for. If I can clean it out, make it safe to drink water in, to store water in, I'll be quite happy. If not, I can convert it to a shower unit. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I could. Yeah. A few judicial holes in the right place. Yeah, I could turn it into a gravity-fed shower unit. Anyway, I shall carry on walking in a minute and catch you later on. I love that plane overhead. I don't know if you can see it. It's just... I can't seem to... as I said, my eyesight's really bad at the moment. Doesn't seem to be moving fast enough. He's just hanging there. Must be a bit of a headwind up there. Anyway, catch you later, guys. Well, walking along this path, and I can see the rose hips are coming up. I think there were some sloes. They look like sloes to me. Where were they? Where did they go? Yeah, there's some rose hips. Yeah, sloes. I think they're definitely sloes. Have to look them up again. But yeah, rose hips are coming up. And hawthorn still look young. Of course, you got all the other do not eat berries and all that sort of thing. Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Very slows. Or mahoney. What's the other one called? Mahoney or something. There's a whole section here. So rosehip tea. Slows for your gin. Alright. Anyway, catch you later.